in the emotional appeal continues with verse number 23. Verse number 23, the emotional appeal is fear. First he tried to persuade him, then he used devotion, then he used vanity, then personal appeal. The fifth emotion that he is trying is fear. You inculcate fear by pointing out the consequences. Fear is driven in, fear is inculcated when the consequences are pointed out. A person blindfoldedly gets into action because he doesn't know that there is a thing called consequence. He doesn't recognize that there is a thing called consequence. So when the consequences are pointed out, the person will move away from inaction or the wrong action. So when the consequences are pointed out, the emotion that works, the emotion that places what is known as fear. So the emotion that he is appealing now, the emotion that he is using now in verse number 23 is one of fear. If I do not engage in action tirelessly, men would in every way follow my path, O Arjuna, O Partha. This is the fear. What is fear here? If I get away from action, it's something similar to what he has said already in verse number 21. In verse number 21, a similar idea which is used to touch Arjuna's vanity. Here, you are a great leader. If you withdraw, people also will follow the same. That is Arjuna's vanity. Here he is saying, if I do not ever engage in action, if I stop acting, men would in every way follow my path. The shift here is, in your case, they will follow you in a different way. In my case, they will follow, and the results are disastrous. That's the fear. Therefore, I engage in action. You also better do the action. That's how the fear is planted. Logic and reason has no meaning to this. If your logic and reason has no meaning to this emotional appeal. How does Arjuna's refusal to fight interfere with Krishna's activities? I am refusing to fight. How does it interfere with your activity? A logic and reason doesn't help here. If people are going to follow your path, Krishna, you better fight. I will run away. Is what logically Arjuna should have said. But he is not in a position to talk all this. Emotional appeals work when you are confused. Emotional appeal works when you are confused. Emotional appeal will not work when you are rational. When you are thinking and when you are rational, emotional appeals will not work. And in life, most of the time, it is the emotional appeal that works. Even if a person is rational also, it's an emotional appeal only. You are a very rational person. Therefore, only we both can understand each other is also an emotional appeal. You follow? Most of the time, if not always, what appeals in life is the emotional appeal only. And here the emotion is one of fear. What is the fear? Fear is an emotion that by pointing out the consequences, fear comes in. If you don't pay the tax, government will come and take away everything of yours. Now fear is planted, and the fellow acts out of fear. So what is fear? How does the emotion of fear work? By pointing out the consequences. If you do a wrong thing, your children will suffer, na? If you are not careful, you will be happy, but who will suffer? The rational person will say, if I do a wrong thing, I should suffer. Why should the children suffer? But then it doesn't work like that. For emotional appeal works. And one of the important emotion that we use, or most of the time we use, is this fear. Because personal appeal and all doesn't work in the way that fear works. And how does fear work? By pointing out the consequences of the action. Why? Because a human being gets into action without being aware of the consequences. They do not know that there is a thing called consequence. Intellect is that penetrating capacity to understand the consequence. Even at the stage of planning itself, intellect understands the consequences. Again I repeat, consequences is understood at the stage of planning an action, not after the action. Not after the action when you are suffering or joyful, whatever be it. Why only suffering? Sometimes you experience joy also. The consequences are understood wise man understands it through knowledge. Ignorant man understands through their own experience, the consequences. Since we lack the penetrating capacity to understand the consequence, what these wise men do? They go on talking about the consequence. By planting and understanding this consequence plants the fear in you, temporarily. Once you go through the process of manana, reflection and understanding, it's no more fear. But in the initial stages, it is fear. You follow the difference? And this fear is a protection mechanism. At least you don't do the action. To that extent you are free from the consequences. Here the appeal is if I stop working, Arjuna, how I work, that's where he just slips in the word. How I work, there is a difference between you working and me working. You work with fatigue. I work without fatigue. That's all he said. You work frustrated. I work. So, me having to do the actions is more important than anyone else doing the action. If I do not engage in action, unvaried means tirelessly without getting fatigued. Work will come to a grinding halt. In the ultimate sense also, it's the fear. How in the ultimate sense it works? How when Krishna stops, everyone stops. How? Are you able to follow the question? See, all along there is an emotional appeal. Now try to understand it from the standpoint of knowledge and understanding also. When he stops, all actions will stop. How? Life principle stops, nothing works. Petrol stops. Right. When petrol stops, all movement stops. Without petrol, correct. Correct. Very correct. When the enlivening principle doesn't do what it ought to do, down the line everything comes to a standstill. Therefore, even intellectually, if I do not engage in action, everyone becomes, for the enlivening principle is switched off. Electricity is switched off, now everything comes to a grinding halt. So first thing is you have to go on, look at the tripper, no? Enga tripper irukudhu. You have to, 2 days I am doing that, I know. Something you go and put one switch, the whole thing goes, and then sir, tripper goes. Then I call the electrician, sir, only sir, tripper, put it back, it will become right. Like when it switches off, the whole thing becomes active. In that sense also, him being in action is very important. This is at a very high level of philosophy, and we are at a very high level of philosophy. Emotional appeals will not work here. They are knowledge only. Shankar, very correct. How? This is how it works. But Krishna is not using it in that sense. Krishna is using it in the purely in the emotional sense of the fear. Verse number 24, last emotion.
Sankarasya jagatkasyam upahanyamima prajaha utsrive yunime lokaha nakuryam karma chedaham Sankarasya jagatkasyam upahanyamima prajaha.
These worlds would perish if I did not perform action. I should be the cause of confusion of caste and should destroy these people. The last emotion, a threat. Fear followed by a threat. In chapter 1, Arjuna uses the same logic to avoid the action. Now in chapter 3, Krishna is using the same argument to say, get into action. Yeah. This is how it works. If you look at chapter 1, Arjuna uses the very same argument. What is the very same argument? By this war, these worlds will perish. Confusion of caste will, Varna Sankaraha will arise. This will happen. He pointed out so many consequences in chapter 1. Now Krishna is saying, he is saying, by fighting, it's not by avoiding the fight. Arjuna's argument is, by avoiding this war, all these consequences can be avoided. Krishna is saying, only if you don't fight, all this will happen. பண்ணாம இருந்துட்டா நல்லதுதானே சார்? பண்ணலன்னா தான் ப்ராப்ளம்னா using the, are able to follow? It's the same argument that he used to say that confusion of caste will happen, Varna Sankara will happen, Kula Dharma will clear. What all he said? Kula Dharma will go, Varna Sankara will happen, women will become corrupt. All these will lead to destruction of the society, and we who are interested in the welfare of the society should abstain from this war. Now Krishna's argument is, only if we don't do all this, only if we don't fight, Kula Dharma will be protected by the fight. This will be protected by this fight. The threat. What is the threat here? Arjuna, you misunderstood. All your arguments are faulty. Only by avoiding the fight, whatever you were worried about is going to happen. It's the threat. You're able to follow how the threat is. This is the threat. 6 emotions he has used. From the subtler to the gross. First he used. Now look at the 6 emotions sequentially. First he used devotion. A very noble emotion is devotion. Arjuna had some value to the great souls of the past, so he used to them. Janakadayaha, he says, like Janaka and others used devotion. Then persuasion. Negotiation, persuasion, negotiation, please. What is negotiation? At least for the welfare of the society. Okay, devotion is not working. At least work for persuasion. Then he went on to say, you are a leader of the community. Lead the way by fighting. Then personal appeal. What is a personal appeal? Follow my example, Arjuna. Janakapurila personal appeal, vanity is not being tickled because the stubbornness is so strong. When a person is stubborn, what emotions will finally work? That's what is. I said, when he started this emotional appeal, I said, when I finish, we will sequentially understand how it's not randomly he is using. It's not random 6 emotions. He is just playing with. Even here there is a sequence. That's why he is a very dangerous man. He manipulates with. Emotional man will randomly use emotion. He is not an emotional person. He is using the emotion. He didn't turn emotion. So he tried. Okay, devotion didn't work. Then he went on to say persuasion didn't happen. Vanity, personal appeal, fear, last is threat. More and more stubborn, more and more tamoguna predominates, what will work? Fear and threat. Fear is of the consequences of not doing. Threat is, what is threat? What is the difference between fear and threat? It's 2 different emotions. They are not the They are not the same. Fear is about the consequences. Threat is about fear na bhayamuttarada. Threat means again the same thing, no? Is it the same? Are you able to follow? Fear is about the consequences. Threat is about what?
Losing something.
Threat is about pushing into a man into an threat. Fear is about the consequences. Threat is about something immediate. If you have to pull a person into action immediately, devotion, persuasion, vanity, all that doesn't work. What will work is threat. நீ வரலன்னா வேலைக்கு வரலன்னா காலி பானின்னா your family will suffer, salary இல்லாம what will you do, without money how will you pay your fees, all that is கரெக்டா புரியுதா ஆர்கே சார், all that is fear. But இதெல்லாம் like when all this doesn't work, what will work? If you don't come today, you are Galina, the fellow immediate threat. The grossest emotion, the grossest thing that you can you have to use on the other is the threat. It works only, you should know when to use it. People use it not knowing when to use. That's why none of your threats work, because even when you are using the emotion, you should know when to use. When the tamo guna is so, when the stubbornness, and the stubbornness means tamo guna, and the tamo guna becomes really high. This can happen in every human being's case. Every human being has some tamoguna, and that tamoguna can become very predominant, very powerful at times for anybody. And the only way that it can, and how to help that person to get into action, you use threat. I'll give another example. See, upon children, threat is used to know. It doesn't work at all. Upon children, the threat is used, but it doesn't work at all. Why? Very difficult to understand this. I'm just giving this example. Upon children, this emotion of threat is constantly tried on children. It doesn't work at all. Why?
They are rajasic and we are forcing them to become
Consequences not
understood. நீங்க 6 ல இருந்து 5 க்கு போயிட்டீங்க, fear க்கு போயிட்டீங்க. I am discussing about threat.
So they know for sure parents will be there. They know for sure parents at any point of time will be there.
Then they have become a parent already. Why it doesn't work? If you understand this, you know when to use threat and when not to use, so that you don't get once you use a threat, and if it doesn't work, it will not work again. You know that, no? Use it once, and if it doesn't work, don't expect it to work the next day. For something so fundamentally is lost there in threat. That's why even when threat doesn't work, what an ordinary man will do? No, what a normal man will do, even when every human being tries all this and it won't work. And what they will do? A ordinary ignorant man, a normal human being. Huh?
Physically harm.
Physically harm. You are correct. Physically harm. Who? The other? Themselves. Even when threat doesn't work, they go and bang themselves. Are you able to follow? Not physically harming the other, harming oneself. Ayyo, they don't know. Why? Everything has failed. Threat. It fails all the time. Why? For threat to work, carefully follow. For threat to work, the other has to be dependent on you. If you are dependent, threat will not work. And parents think children are dependent on them. No. You ask the children. I have spoken. That's why you ask the children knows very well that who's dependent on whom. See, every parent think that children is dependent on them, no? And you know what and you are paying the school fees, you are cooking for them, you are giving them the house, and you are creating wealth for them, and you believe that they are dependent on you. Actually speaking, who is dependent? That's why you threat, they will laugh. You threaten them, they will sometimes out of compassion for you, they don't laugh at your face, that's all. But they go outside and have a hearty laughter. Are you able to follow? Threat works in the case where the other is dependent. Yeah. You tell the fellow, Podlana, you will be sacked, na? He is dependent on you, no. Supposing if the fellow turn back and says, Sir, Ningalana innorthar vela kudupar, sir, now what will happen? Are you able to follow? If you are not there, so what? I have? No, they have so many. Yeah, so many fellows, sir, na, your threat becomes? Your threat becomes? In fact, it becomes correct experience. You use threat and it becomes a threat to your own self. People use these fear, threat. Why I am discussing all this is people use this fear, threat so casually, and it bounces back and hurt themselves. In the case of Krishna, it didn't bounce back on him. It is creating some reaction in Arjuna. It is creating something in Arjuna. Are you able to follow? 6 emotions. Personal appeal. Up to personal appeal, there is some kind of refinement and subtlety is there. The last 2, fear and threat. Fear is consequences. You have a ruler in hand and tell the other. The fear. Threat. What is the threat? Arjuna here is using the threat. As Krishna is using the threat. What is the threat? The people and the world will be totally annihilated. If we don't act. 6 emotions. To wake up Arjuna into action. A very long intellectual appeal from verses 4 till 19, a very long intellectual appeal for action. And intellectual appeals has to be long always. Then only it will, intellectual appeal, no, it has to be long. You can't have an emotional appeal for 1.5 hours lectures, you can't give. Intellectual appeal is long. Arjuna getting fatigued because of the intellectual appeal. That is why after a point, even in a classroom like this, we get fatigued, we get tired. A kind of addiction we keep coming again and again and again. That's a different story. But there is a fatigue. You follow? And emotional appeals also doesn't work. Why? See, whenever there is a fatigue and you can do some emotional appeal and make the person to act, emotional appeals also doesn't work. Why? Intellectual appeal doesn't work. Emotional appeal doesn't work. Why? Why? Why both doesn't work? For the ignorance is very, very strong. The ignorance is so deep that emotions also doesn't stir. And we don't stir the emotions a lot. Reason is the shelf life is very short. And it works. Temporarily it will work. See, few years, 20-25 years back, not 25 years, almost 30 years back, suddenly this Ram Janmabhoomi building temple for Rama became very, very huge, very big. It was so huge, so big. And everyone was getting carried away in that. Everyone was getting carried away in that emotion. So, same in this Nardagana Sabha only. I went there, so I know that. Some program was happening. After a while, the whole place is so charged emotionally. Everyone is going, everyone is in the emotional, everyone is in the emotional chakkar. At the end of the second hour, having whipped up the emotions, that man said, Rama walked in forest for 14 years. Can't we walk back home one day today? Emotional appeal. If Rama walked in 14 years in Farsana, that is, so why should I? No one could. Can't you all walk back one day to home? But Karlam parking la uttu what to do? What will do? No one. No, you can't ask any of. When you come out of the hall, you will ask all that. But there you cannot. Chakkar going on. And Rama is asking to build the temple. By helping to build the temple, you are helping Rama. And நம்மளாம் பாக்ஸ் எல்லாம் ரெடி பண்ணி வச்சுன்னு அதுக்கு 2 பேர் காவலுக்கு வேற நிக்கிறோம் இல்லையா? As though someone is going to come and take everything away. There I saw that one big, like a jamkalam of this size was spread. I tell you, Was anyone in this group also sat in that group that day? I sat. That's why I know. The gold chains, most of the tali chain la, everything, and the fellow all walked back. Third day, phone calls started coming. Divorce is going to happen because how can you throw the gold chain and you stir up the, you can stir up the emotion and make a person into action. But the shelf life is very, very short. Number one. Number two, if you stir up once, you think second time it will work, no? It will not work after that. It works only once. It doesn't work. Therefore, the wise one never resorts to emotional appeal first. He goes always the intellectual appeal. For it's the thing that you can try. It's like the Brahmastra, and you don't use it. Yeah, you can use it only once. You know that, no? Only once you can use it, and you use it straight away. It will have no. And emotional appeals we keep. Emotional appeals is that which works under what circumstances? When the other looks up to you, and when the other is kind of dependent on you. The child goes through a sickness and you are shivering, the child understands who is dependent on whom. You follow? The child is sick and you turn stubborn and you say it's okay, nothing has happened, and you turn back and sleep, the child understands who is dependent on. Are you able to follow? The child is sick and you start shivering, the child knows. Who is the master now? Child is the. But it is love, no, sir. It is love, no. It is not. It is not. It is just sheer dependence. From the highest emotion, the subtler emotion, the subtlest is you can use devotion as an emotion to make the person act. He started with devotion and ended with threat. Devotion, persuasion, vanity, personal appeal, fear and threat. Like a Chivda, he used all that he had, and Arjuna is showing signs of reactions. Arjuna is showing signs of reaction. Now to us we can't understand how Arjuna is reacting. For us, Arjuna and Krishna is more for us Arjuna is also a story. Krishna is also another story. But not for Krishna. For when he is trying all this, when he tried all this, Krishna showing signs of recovery. When signs of recovery is shown, he bombards him with the highest knowledge. The technique of right action. The essence of Karma Yoga. The essence of Karma Yoga, the technique of right action, is what we are going to see from verses 25 to 35. The crux of Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? The technique of right action. Verses 25 to 35. Since Krishna is talking about the technique of right action, we infer that Arjuna is reacting, and because of Arjuna reacting, Krishna is giving out this technique of right action. Verses 25 to 35. the technique of right action. Before giving out the technique of right action, Arjuna was prepared by intellectual appeal to action. Arjuna was prepared through emotional appeal for action, a preparation through intellectual appeal, and a preparation through emotional appeal. Arjuna is ready to receive the technique of right action. And he starts. Emotional appeal. He woke up. Again he woke up. He switches back to emotions are left behind, and he switched back to knowledge. The technique of right action. These emotional appeals, okay? Six emotions. From the highest, which is devotion, to the threat. Commands can be given only when devotion is there. When devotion is there, you can never command. Whom you can command? You can command only when there is devotion. Devotion comes only when you are. Devotion comes only. Devotion comes only. Gratitude. When you recognize the other has served you. You look up to Roger Federer also. You can look up to Mukesh Ambani also. Are you devoted to them? Looking up to is different. Devotion is different. When will you be devoted? When does devotion come? Devotion comes when you recognize that you are being served. Number one. Devotion comes when you understand that you are being served unasked. Remember that. That's where devotion comes. You go and ask, and then the other gives in. It's a transaction. What is devotion? Devotion is when the other has served you. Second thing, unasked for. You don't even, but then help comes. Devotion comes to you when you understand that the other has served you and you are incapable of understanding that you are being served. This is devotion. This is gratitude. Are you able to follow? When does gratitude come? When does devotion come? The other has served you and you are incapable of recognizing that the other is serving you. That's where gratitude comes. Otherwise, it's all a transaction. Are you able to follow? Devotion, the wonderful emotion. What is that? You are being served. Number two, unasked for, you are served. Number three, you are incapable of recognizing the fact that you are being served. What amount of affection, what amount of love the other should have had to do that. For that you are grateful. To that person you will have devotion. Are you able to follow? Looking up to, you look up to many. In life you always look up to many. Devotion is always to a few. Maximum one or two, that's all. When I say few, now it doesn't even go 5 and 6 along. Just one or two. But you can always look up to many. Personal appeal, looking up to later. I said the hierarchy of subtlety. He used the subtlest emotion first. What is the subtlest emotion? Devotion. And what is devotion? Gratitude. What is gratitude? You are served and you don't even know that you are being served. You are incapable of recognizing that you are being served. And the other knowing it was serving you. Are you able to follow? You are incapable of recognizing that you are being served, and the other knows it. It means what? It means what? It means what? What amount of love, what amount of identification the other should have had on you, when you don't even know, when you have not even asked. Okay, you have not asked is okay. Gratitude comes when you recognize the fact that you don't even know that you are being served. The child doesn't know that it is being served. That's why as you age only your gratitude to parents comes now, because at that time only you start recognizing. Correct? Tragedy is most of the time you recognize where you can't do anything, because the other is dead and gone. You really don't know what to do. You only cry. You follow? Devotion is of the highest emotion. And how does devotion come? Devotion arises out of gratitude. What is the gratitude? Unasked for you are served. Unasked for means you don't even know what to ask for. Look at the level of ignorance. Are you able to follow what I am saying? Look at the level of your ignorance that you don't even know what to ask for, and the other the other recognized that, anticipated that. You are grateful. You are grateful to what? You are grateful to the anticipation of the other. See, what is service? Service is anticipating the need. That's all service is. You don't wait for the other to ask. What is service? Service is anticipating the need and ready. You will follow? Again I repeat. What is service? What is affection? What is love? That's why in love you don't have to ask. The other knows. How they know? They anticipate. Just as the mother anticipates the child's hunger. The mother anticipates the child's hunger and she is ready. That's how nature anticipates our needs and created everything even before we are born. How much of gratitude you should have towards God. Are you able to follow? This is devotion. Devotion is not an infatuation with a personality. Devotion is not infatuation to a personality. Devotion arises out of a deep understanding. What is understanding? You don't even know what to ask for you don't know what is good, what is bad. You don't know what is right, what is wrong. You don't know that. Someone anticipated that and provided you with that. Anticipated that, made lot of efforts in order to make it available for you. To that source, what emotion will flow? Gratitude, devotion. That's why symbolically you prostrate. Symbolically prostrate. Opposite of that is when the ego is so strong, saying that I am a self-made person, sir. I did everything by myself. No? And even when that man prostrates also, in that prostration also you can see the you can see the ego standing erect even when that man does the prostration. Are you able to follow? Devotion. And Krishna, being an extraordinary master, a subtlest human being, he always tries the subtler things first. When that doesn't work, he has no problems using the grosser, but because of his refinement and subtlety, he always tries the subtler first. Are you able to follow? If he can know fear and threaten, he could have used it straight away in chapter 2 itself. Get into a Bhayamurthy, you could have made the whole fight happen immediately. But it doesn't. You follow? Devotion is an emotion. When does devotion work? When you know that the other has served you. Under what conditions service happened to you? That's what devotion is all about. That's what brings about the devotion. You follow? Okay, otherwise everyone is serving. Otherwise everyone is cooperating, everyone is helping each other in a different way. But you don't experience devotion. When does devotion come? Devotion comes when you know that you are being sorry. Devotion comes when you know that you are being served, unasked for, and you don't even know that you are being. That's the quality of service. You serve those who are incapable of recognizing that you are serving. Are you able to follow? You always serve those who are incapable of recognizing that they are being served. Since they are incapable of recognizing that they are served, they will not have any gratitude. They will not have any devotion. A wise one is unaffected by that. Why? Because he has understood already that you serve those who are incapable of understanding that you are served. Correct, sir. No one is recognizing my don't use it, sir. I am serving. No, now I understand, sir. Yeah, no one is recognizing my service. Yeah. We can we know how to use it in a very kutarka sense. You follow? Wonderful is this quality, wonderful is this emotion, devotion. Devotion is gratitude. When does gratitude come? From the recipient standpoint I am talking. From the standpoint of the giver, he has no problem because he has fully understood what the other is. The moment he becomes capable, he doesn't need service anymore. So who deserves the service? Carefully understand that. The higher doesn't need your service. If you think Shankaracharya needs your service, your ignorance is double PhD in Artham. For the higher doesn't require your service. Service is always to whom? Service is to whom? The other is incapable. The child is incapable of recognizing that it is being served. Small children, and we all did that, no? Nature's call we will answer and we will lie on that only, not even knowing how to just move a little bit. We don't even know. Someone comes and picks up the child, cries, thinking that it is being picked up, some harm is going to happen, some injury is going to happen, and the child cries. But the mother, are you able to follow? The child is incapable of recognizing that it is being served. It is incapable of recognizing that it is being served. You follow? Gratitude comes when you recognize. Once you know that you are being served, 24/7 you will be constantly thinking how to serve. Not serve him, how to serve others. Because anyway he doesn't. Are you able to follow? The moment you recognize that, you don't think in terms of how to. The Mundaka Upanishad, he talks about the student goes in search of the master carrying wooden sticks. Samitpani, it says. Samitpani. The Mundaka Upanishad describes how the student goes in search of the master. He has not even seen the master. Look at that student's quality. Anticipated the need of the unknown master carrying the sticks with him in search of the master. That is also one level of service. At least recognize that's a different level, that's all. Don't even compare it to your level. That's not the intention. The intention is to explain there is that level. What is that level? Anticipating the essential ingredients of service is anticipate the need. The other looks up, looking into the eyes of the other, you know what the other is need of. Now you have identification. Even after the other is asking also, you don't react. Now what to do? Yeah. Service is anticipating the need. You can anticipate the need where you have identification. Only when you identify, you can anticipate the need. That identification is what is known as identification is the technical term. The layman's term for identification is love. That's where in love you recognize the need of the other. In love you recognize the need of the other. Those great men live their life for what? They have nothing to, like in the fourth emotion he said, no, in the three worlds I have nothing to gain. Arjuna, you act because you have to gain something in return. That's why you act. Why do you think I am acting? What do you think I am going to get? That man is setting an example. Even when we don't recognize that, he is setting an example. Devotion. In a matter of 3 verses, the sutler to the grosser he pointed out. Most of the time, since we don't have that strength in us of able to invoke the devotion, we have to resort it to threat only. And our threats our threats don't work at all. Power also doesn't. You may have power, and that power is so shallow it is. See, long back, we have to go for some government work going. So we have to go and we have to meet the revenue secretary. One day we were sitting, asking some help. That fellow saying, "Sir, you think you have come here thinking that we have power, no? I will show you my power," he said. Actually, that day, I will show you my power. What? Bell adiggra. See, when the peon will come, you will know my power, he said. Huh? He literally, I tell you, oh my God. He asked, நீங்க என்னத்துக்கு சார் இங்க வந்திருக்கிறீங்க? என்கிட்ட பவர் இருக்குதுன்னு you have come, no? See my power now. He rang the bell. 20 minutes later, that fellow walked in. Correct, huh? Correct, no? You are also GM lang, la? You rang the bell, when will the security fellow come? If you are lucky, he comes, no? You are lucky if that fellow comes. 20 minutes later, that fellow comes. Sir, quoting la? எதுக்கு சார் அதெல்லாம் ஞாபகப்படுத்துறீங்கன்னு சொல்றீங்களா? ரிட்டையர் ஆகி எல்லாம் மறந்துட்டு உட்கார்ந்துருக்கிறோம். Why are you reminding me all that? கூப்பிட்டீங்களா சார்? ஆமாம்பா. நெக்ஸ்ட் லுக், hilarious it was. A4 இருந்து அந்த ஃபைல் எத்தனை வாப்பா? A4 language, அதான language. A4, A1, A2, A4 na clerk. A1 is one clerk, A2 is another clerk, A3 is another, and this is an IAS officer. At the whole state revenue is in that man's hand. A4 tenth and the file எத்தனை வாப்பா? He left. He is telling me, எப்போ எத்தனை வருவான் பாருங்க சார். 45 minutes later the man comes back. A4 சேர்ல இல்ல சார், A4 சீட்ல இல்ல சார். எங்கப்பா போனாரு? அது எனக்கு எப்படி சார் தெரியும்? This is that man's. Now what threat he can use on that fellow? What threat he can use? So nothing works. 2 weeks later, I tell you all experience. 2 weeks later, went to see the revenue secretary in dhoti and kurta and mala. It didn't work. 2 weeks later, pant and shirt. I went to the A4 directly. Mari Vedanta Institute varamba. உங்க ஆளுங்க யாரோ 2 வாரம் முன்னாடி வந்தாங்களே. I only went. That fellow waste is same thing. I come in pant and if you are seeing me only in dhoti and kurta, and you have never seen me in shorts and t-shirt. If I walk in with that, you will not. So I went pant. யாருப்பா யாராவது இந்த வேஷ்டி குர்த்தா போட்டு வந்தாங்களா? ஆனா நேரம் அங்க போனாங்களே. Power inga irukudhu sir. Power is here. You have to come here. Devotion will not work. Personal appeal will not work. Fear will not work. Threat will not work. Bribe will not. Then what will work? What will work? Knocks and shocks of life wakes them up. What will work? Nothing works. Their own knocks and shocks of life will kill them. And that's a very poor way of learning something in life, through knocks and shocks. Here we are talking about a situation where we learn through knowledge and understanding. And what is this knowledge and understanding? How does emotional appeal work? When it will work? For in transaction with others, intellectual appeal doesn't. Most of the time you have to resort to emotional appeals only, and you need to know. And you need to know what emotion you have to use. For that, you should not be emotional. If you yourself turn emotional, someone is using emotional appeal on you. Someone has turned you emotional already. You can't do this emotional. You follow? Wonderful. From the subtlest devotion to the last emotion, the threat. What is the threat? Everyone will be annihilated. Kula Dharma will go. Intermixture of caste will happen. Jayate Varna Sankaraha. Arjuna said that. Here Krishna is saying the same argument Krishna is using. Threat. Women will become corrupt. Same appeal. Krishna is for Arjuna tried this on Krishna. Are you able to understand? Arjuna tried it on Krishna. Krishna is saying, don't try it on me. For all that you said will happen only if you don't act. For action will keep the dharma alive. Action will keep everything alive. For it is inaction that is going to cause the annihilation. And Arjuna's argument is, action is going to cause annihilation. Krishna's argument is, it is inaction that is going to cause the annihilation. The threat. What is the threat here? You want to become inactive, Arjuna, and it is this inaction that is causing this. It is inaction that is causing this annihilation. Devotion works when the name of the other is suggested. That's why, like Janaka Nale, Arjuna got. You don't have to say everything, just have to mention like Janaka and others. Just mention the name is enough to invoke mentioning the name is enough to invoke the devotion. And also matters who invokes it. Anyone saying will not. Devotion. Then a personal appeal. Then a personal appeal. Personal appeal can be from many. You can look up to many. You can get inspired by many. Supposing if some video comes to you, 10-year-old man climbing the stairs and going to the temple, now you get personal appeal, no? You will not go and prostrate to that man. You will not have devotion to that man. Personal appeal, that is. Are you able to follow? Slightly inferior to devotion. Personal. Then vanity. What is vanity? Some hard work he did in the past, as a result of which he has achieved that status now. Some hard work Arjuna has done in the past and he has achieved this status now. Vanity is making him remember that. அந்த காலத்துல எப்படி இருந்த நீ இப்போ இப்படி இருக்கிறீன்னா you are able to follow. அதெல்லாம் அப்பப்பா இப்போ வயசாயிடுச்சுன்னா then it will not work. Are able to follow? When vanity works, when you recognize, when you remind the other of their efforts. Don't think vanity na ego what tickle பண்றது கிடையாது. Don't understand it as a deep tickling. He is reminding him of his own. Is reminding him of his own past. You have done some good work in the past. As a result of which you have come to this level, Arjuna. What happened to you now? Why can't you live up to that? That is what is known as tickling vanity. Fourth is personal appeal. Follow my example. Fifth one is fear. Dire consequences of inaction in relation to the future. Threat is something immediate. If you don't do this, I will not talk to you. Threat, no? Correct? If you don't do this, I will not look at you. Na, thank you. Na, and if the other fellow walks out, na, your threat has become so useless. No? Threat works. Threat works. But very rarely only you have to use. Live up a life, step up your life to a height where that emotional appeal in terms of devotion will work. If it has to work, you have to step up. You have to step up your life. How do you step up your life? The technique of right action. You step up Arjuna. The technique of right action. And what is the technique of right action? That we are going to see. Verses 25 to 35. Now you understand how Arjuna is intellectually prepared and emotionally also prepared. Otherwise, vanity, just tickling the ego of that. It's not tickling the ego. What is vanity? Trying to remind Arjuna of his own sacrifices some hard work he should have done in the past not to come to the status. Otherwise, he would not have attained the status now. So what is by vanity, what is Krishna doing? Touching that point. All these prepared Arjuna intellectually as well as emotionally to receive what? The technique of karma yoga. The technique of right action. Verses 25 to 35, karma yoga, the technique of right action. Intellectual appeal for action is over. Emotional appeal for action is over. And we are entering into learning what is known as the technique of right action. The essence of karma yoga. Next week.
पूछा नहीं। देखो कैसे मांग रहा है, देखो।